There's an ancient symbol hidden in plain sight, one that holds the key to transformation, power, and unlocking your true potential. It's been used for centuries by mystics, rulers, and even modern science, but almost no one understands its true meaning. Once you do, it will change the way you see yourself and the world forever. Stay with me, because this could be the key to your own awakening. The symbol of the snake, or the serpent, is a very powerful symbol that refers to something within you, that we all are on this journey. So first of all, we see this symbol in ancient Egypt on the top of the pharaoh's head. We also see this with Buddha, with the snake on top of the Buddha's head and below. We also see this in Rome, with the Roman god Mercury holding the staff with the snake. We see this in Adam and Eve's story with the snake tempting Eve. We even see this today on the medical facility. What does this mean? Why is this symbol being used for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? It has a very deep esoteric meaning. We see this in the Caduceus staff, and we even see the snake representing the Kundalini. What does the snake actually mean? A lot of people think it represents the Kundalini, which it does. However, there's a deeper interpretation of this symbol, and it goes very far beneath the surface of what the snake actually represents. Okay? So first of all, when looking at symbols, we need to observe what the snake does in nature. The serpent sheds its skin. The serpent shedding its skin is a sacred symbol of an inner transformation. It transforms from its old self to a new self. It sheds layers of itself. As the snake discards its old exterior, it mirrors our own journey of realizing outdated beliefs and patterns, paving the way for a renewed, authentic self on the esoteric path of awakening. Essentially, it represents transformation, but not transformation of our physical bodies, transformation of our inner world. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky and you may become a little bit confused, but I'm going to make this very clear for you. The snake symbol, or any symbol, can be used for different contexts. For example, the Kundalini. We see the snake representing the Kundalini. We all know that energy can't be destroyed, only transferred. Like I said, this is a transferring of energy. It's a changing, a transforming, shedding its skin. It represents transformation. Sexual energy is energy, and we can transform the sexual energy into a Kundalini awakening to activate dormant brain cells in our brain, and to activate the human light body, which is the spirit. We can cultivate, save, and retain our sexual energy, transmute it up the spine to activate the brain. This is a symbol of transformation, of energy in this context. However, when we go to the emergency services, this does not mean the same thing as the Kundalini. The snake in this context represents transformation of health. When we are picked up by the emergency services, we are looking for a transformation. We are unwell, and now we need to transform to well-being. This is why they use this symbol. It represents transformation, especially with the pole and the snake climbing. It's climbing, it's transforming from the bottom to the top, shedding its skin, shedding old layers, transformation. We see this in the Bible with the snake tempting Eve to eat the apple of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Well, what does this mean? Where's the transformation in this? Well, this is a very hidden one. The transformation takes place in Adam and Eve's consciousness and their mind. They go from a pure, whole state of consciousness, from being tempted by the snake, and they eat it and they transform into knowing the good and evil, into the dualistic ways of thinking and the dualistic meaning of this world. Let me rephrase that. They understand the dualism of this world. and they now understand the two good and bad ways of thinking. They know the knowledge of good and evil, of duality. They shifted from a whole state of consciousness into their consciousness being split into good and evil. This represents the journey of every single soul that incarnates into this world, including yourself. When you were a child, you were whole. You had no understanding of good and evil. But as you grew older, you eaten the fruit. You grew to understand the knowledge of good and evil. Your consciousness split from a whole into a separate and divided way of thinking and divided understanding of the world. We suppressed aspects of ourselves to fit in with society norms, and we just limited ourselves with limiting belief systems. We knew the knowledge of good and evil. Our consciousness split from a whole state. This is what Adam and Eve is symbolic of. We see this with the Roman god Mercury, with the snake. Mercury represents intellect, communication. He's always flying in the air, which represents the air, the mind, the intellect. He's holding the snake to represent transformation of the mind. This is what we call mental alchemy. Turning base metals into gold, turning the unenlightened aspects of our mind into enlightened ones, turning our negativity into power and control. We see this with the Buddha, and Buddha is all to do with transformation of the inner world, transformation of the mind and the soul and the emotions. And it also represents the Kundalini. We see this in ancient Egypt. We always see the snake on the head, representing the place where the third eye is, representing the intellect or the mind, the mind's eye, the third eye, whatever you want to call it. This is the place of the invisible intelligence within us. This is our mind or intellect. And this is the transmutation of the mind. This is why the snake is on the head, representing the transformation of the mind, going from the unenlightened into the enlightened, going from the uncontrolled to the controlled mind, so that we can control the very fabric of reality. I've kind of just given that away. Why is this important? Humans are creators. We're the architects of creation, endowed with the divine power to channel the fourth dimension, which is the imagination, into reality. Each thought and intention is a seed. When nurtured with focus and clarity, transforms the unseen into the tangible experience. This creative process bridges the gap between the ethereal and the material. Humans are creators. It's impossible for you not to create. Whether you're doing this consciously or subconsciously, you've been creating your whole life, turning non-physical thought into physical reality. We are creators. However, the mind cannot create in a state of chaos. The mind cannot create with limiting beliefs. The mind cannot create with thoughts that come and destruct our minds. The mind cannot create consciously and effectively if there are impulses within our mind and we have no control over the mind. So this is where self-transformation comes from within. This is where the snake comes in. The snake represents the transmutation of our mind from the uncontrolled to the controlled. In this context of the Egyptians with the snake on their head. It's all to do with mental alchemy. In the occult tradition, the mind is seen as a delicate instrument that demands constant vigilance. Left unchecked, it reverts to archaic and destructive thinking patterns. Like a finely honed blade, it must be continually sharpened through discipline and self-refinement. In this unending process of unveiling and mastery, we learn to shape reality, harnessing the power of our thoughts to manifest the highest potential. It's all to do with mental alchemy, and this is how the snake is connected to you. And what the snake represents to you, it represents the transmutation, the changing of ourselves, of our consciousness, so we can gain control in this 3D world. If we lack control, then we'll constantly be manifesting chaos. Now, there are 3 ways that we can transform our world. and we can slowly transform our mind. Now, this is not an overnight process. It takes periods of time of purification. And number one is affirmation. Let's say we have this dirty cup of water and we have a tap of water. And in this tap, it's pouring in more water, clear water. Over time, if I keep pouring clear water into this cup, it's going to slowly purify this cup. And then in the end, it will look like the cup on the right. It's the same with your mind. The cup represents the limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts, the negative mind, the uncontrolled mind. But if we keep repeating affirmations over and over and over again, such as I am disciplined, I am powerful, I am limitless, over time this can purify our subconscious and we can gain control over the mind, and we will become conscious of the thoughts that we are giving attention to. The second way is meditation. Meditation allows one to develop an off switch for the mind, providing a sense of control over it. Over time, we gain the ability to filter our thoughts and become more conscious of the ones we choose to engage with. Meditation, over a period of time, will give you this button that allows you to filter out negative thoughts. If you have a negative thought in your mind, you'll be able to become conscious of this and redirect your mind's attention. This is all about self-control, because remember, we become what we think about. The snake represents the transmutation of the self. And another way is visualization. Visualization allows your subconscious mind to experience the reality you desire, accepting it as truth. As the subconscious becomes more immersed in this imagined reality, it works to manifest it into your conscious experience. Your visual eye, visual eye. You're using the mind's eye to see and mold your future. That's what imagination is for, to create in your future. You can become your future now in your imagination. And this can slowly purify your consciousness, slowly purify your mind, which will then, if you do all three of these over periods of time, you will see great transformation from the inside out. And your outer world will start to mirror your inner transformation, because it's as within, so without. You change your inner world of consciousness, of thought and emotion, you'll change your external reality and your circumstances. So I hope this lesson has gave you a great understanding of what the snake actually represents. And now that you see it, you will see this everywhere. Every time you see a snake, you know it represents the transformation. So please, if you can, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the alerts to make sure you never miss a video. And if you have any video suggestions, feel free to make a comment and I can make a lecture on it. I appreciate you all watching this video today, and I'll see you all inside my university if you're inside, and I'll see you all in my Telegram if you join, and I'll see you in the next video, of course. Thank you and take care.